Biggie's body. Biggie's the one used to working to the body, being the stronger guy, but once again he gets clipped to the rib cage with a left hook, and now a liver shot from Saavedra.
That experience. You're seeing it right now. It's the first round right now. Biggie's trying to get comfortable, trying to get his distance, keeping his hands up high, being responsible with his defense right now, but I would like to see him get on his stick, his jab.
Rodriguez taking his time, understands he's got a challenge in front of him, and once again, it's the body work from Saavedra who's finding a home for that right hand here.
Yeah, Biggie Rodriguez keeping his hands in close. You know, some of that stuff is coming around the guards, but it's a perfect opportunity to catch and shoot up the middle. Got to be relaxed enough to be able to see it. There's opportunities, especially when a guy going down to your body, straight up the middle. You can rip him with shots. You know, Saavedra is very awkward. You know, his rhythm is very, very awkward. The shots that he shoots is awkward. You know, he slides in, he comes behind his head. See right there how he steps in. Then he switches to orthodox as he's moving.
Biggie Rodriguez in a fight here against Saavedra, and he clips him with a nice left hand to punctuate a very even first round. It might have even gone the other way. Former world champion Rob Brandt is in the house. He'll be taking on Janibek Alim Kanuli in our co-main event of the evening. He won the world title against Ryoto Murata. That happened here in Las Vegas on October of 2019. He just totally dominated his opponent, Ryoto Murata, who's coming to make a first title defense here in the United States. He punished him over 12 rounds and took his belt. But then after one defense, he went to Japan in July of 2019, and he said, I made the mistake of trying to do the exact same thing. And boy, did I pay the price as he was stopped by the Japanese champion in his home country. And Tim, that's why no fights are ever the same. The rematch can be very different than the first one.
Yeah, it's all about adjustments in the rematch. And, you know, you had Brandt who had the same game plan. He said in the fighter meeting that he wanted to break the record. And he had that on his mind, and that's the reason why he got chopped up and got knocked out.
Inside the ring, alongside Tim Bradley, I'm Bernardo Osuna. We see the efficiency of both fighters. We said it was a close round. Well, the numbers bear that out, although it seemed like Saavedra got landed the better, most effective punches there in that first round against Biggie Rodriguez. And there he goes once again to the well, digging to the body. Tim, when you got somebody who's just going to the body like that so effectively, what do you do to get him off of you?
Man, you keep your elbows down inside. I mean, you got to make sure you counter him. Like I told you, there's opportunities up the middle. You see Saavedra as he's walking forward, he's leaning forward, so you can lift him up with the uppercut because you got to understand he is going to attack your body. Time him. Catch and shoot.
Saavedra's ending a 26-month layoff after not fighting in 2020 because he had a hard time getting fights during the pandemic due to promotional issues. But Tim, for this reason, he's high risk and low reward. And a tough southpaw who can switch.
Well, you know, he's a southpaw that can switch. Yeah, high risk. You know, you got to get a guy some rounds. You know, Rodriguez has been, you know, blowing guys out, knocking them out. He needs to develop in the professional under these bright lights, you know, in front of a crowd and be pressured by a guy that has experience like Saavedra.
He's one of that great crop of fighters out of San Antonio. You know, Joshua Franco, Bam Rodriguez, Hector Finito Tanajara, who moved over to Riverside, California to train with Robert Garcia alongside fellow Texan Virgil Ortiz. So a very young, very talented crop out of Texas.
There's some nice shots right there from Rodriguez. Coming behind those elbows and see when Saavedra chooses to shoot, what Biggie needs to do is he needs to throw with him. He needs to throw with him. He has heavier hands. Ooh, beautiful shot right there from the outside. Saavedra's tricky. He's very tricky, man. He'll shoot a jab. You know, he's moving his head side to side, switching stances. You know, just really fighting, breaking his rhythm up.
Now, Marco Contreras, who's training Saavedra for this fight and spent about the last 7 weeks with him, said, look, I know Robert, I know Biggie from the time we worked together, and look, keep in mind, Biggie's draw was against a southpaw, so we know what we're up against. As we see both guys dig into the body, Saavedra with another big shot to the liver, but Rodriguez showing that he can take a shot so far.
Yeah, he can take a shot and he's staying composed, staying underneath himself. You know, he's deflecting a lot of those shots that's coming around on the elbows. You can see the redness on his elbows.
Round 2 in the books here at the Virgin in Las Vegas. Our very own Christina Poncher caught up with Rob Brandt.
Rob, Janibek has had an impressive amateur career, but you have 3 times the number of professional fights that he's had. So what do you make of him as an opponent at this point in your respective careers?
You know, obviously they're having to move this fast. It's for a reason. You know, he might be 9-0, but you know, he's got a lot of experience. I know he's 28 years old, so you know they're pushing him to see if he's got it or he doesn't. So I think they chose the wrong one, but you know, this is my time to prove that.
He has knocked out 3 of his last opponents inside 6 rounds. Studying the game the way that you do you think the power is real, or is it kind of more so the opposition that he's faced to date?
I mean, it's both. You know, obviously you have to have the ability in order to knock somebody out. You know, he has that ability, but if the opponent is scared of him, you know, and they're afraid to get hit and they shell up and they're waiting to take that shot, then, you know, that's going to, you know, it's going to be the end of the game. So I'm not scared of Janibek. So you're not going to be seeing that out of him tonight.
Good luck, Rob. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christine. He also told us in the fighter meetings, look, every guy except for Vaughn Alexander was afraid of Janibek. And he mentioned right now, I'm not that guy, so it'll be a completely different type of fight. And now it's Biggie Rodriguez digging to the body of his opponent, Saavedra. Ooh, that was a little low, but he got pulled down at the same time, it seemed.
But now you see the sense of urgency. I'm sure that Robert Garcia, being the smart trainer that he is, told Biggie, you need to step up the tempo. Put the pressure on this guy, bag him up, because you sit outside, you get hit with shots like that. So let's test him inside and see if he can fight on his back foot.
Biggie's been fighting, or scheduled to fight 8 rounds, but this is only a 6-round fight. So, you know, that changes the dynamic when you've got a fighter in Saavedra who potentially could have taken the first 2 rounds.
Exactly.
You see the body work once again from Saavedra. And Biggie Rodriguez is going to have to find some answers here in round 3.
See those shots right there. Saavedra, he'll sit outside and move his head, and then he'll just attack with a lead left hook or right hook from the southpaw stance. See, those are perfect opportunities right there for Biggie to make Saavedra play spade when he steps in, leaning forward.
That was a low blow from Saavedra. It's always harder when you got power coming right back at you, and that's the case with Saavedra here, as Biggie Rodriguez is yet to find the key through the first 8 minutes of action.
See, if Biggie Rodriguez loses this fight, it's going to be just on inactivity. He needs to be a little bit more active with his hands. You know, Saavedra just pressing forward, doing what he wants to do, letting his hands go. Some are landing, some are not, but he's just looking busier in the fight.
Oh, nice left hand there from Saavedra, who catches Biggie coming in. Those are quick combinations, and then he just stands there, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, he's sitting there admiring his work, looking to counterpunch. And I always say, when you work your combinations against a counterpuncher, the first 2 might miss, but the last 2 is going to land, especially if he sits there and admires his work, as Biggie Rodriguez did.
At 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern, we invite you to join us for Janibek Alim Kanuli taking on Rob Brandt right before our main event. And Alim Kanuli is ranked number 2 at the WBO, number 6 by the WBC, and it's for a reason. Explosive punching power. And last time out we saw him, it was in the bubble in October of 2020, and he was facing Gonzalo Coria, and it was an impressive victory. A counter left hand dropped him early, and then it was just vicious combinations from Janibek Alim Kanuli, who ended up finishing Gonzalo Coria by technical knockout in the second round. Actually, there was nothing technical. He put him face first on the canvas.
Yes, he did. That was some power right there from Janibek. Janibek has a ton of amateur experience. You know, he calls his style Kazakh style. You know, he says he can do a little bit of everything. He can be the counter puncher. He can be the hunter. You know, he has good hand speed. He got great ring awareness, and he loves to control the center of the ring. I think tonight, whoever controls that center of the ring is going to be victorious.
That's going to be a very interesting fight. That'll be at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern. Rob Brandt against Janibek Alim Kanuli right before our main event featuring Vasily Lomachenko and Masayoshi Nakatani. The stats here pretty even through the first 3 rounds between Saavedra and Rodriguez. Another low blow there from Saavedra as he pulled down Biggie Rodriguez and punched simultaneously.
Work out. See, most of the shots coming from Saavedra, are hooks. Hooks to the body, hooks to the head. He'll sit outside. You see the jab right there, but I expect the hook to come next. You know, but he's doing it. I love the way he's doing it. He's breaking his rhythm up. He's moving at times. He's coming forward at times and attacking Biggie. Right now, Biggie has him on his back foot, and he's having success. But see, the return fire is what you got to watch with Saavedra. He's not going to sit there and just allow you to hit him. He's going to hit you back. So if Biggie was to work and then be defensive-minded and then work again, be first and also be last, he'd be even more in this fight.
He landed a nice uppercut, did Biggie right there as a counter, but you just see the number of punches that Saavedra is throwing, and you're right. It's sometimes if it's not about efficiency, it's about the punch count, and in the end, he's doing more than Biggie Rodriguez. He's landing what seemed to be the heavier punches so far through 4 rounds, so Biggie's got his work cut out for him.
Well, I can tell you this, you know, these judges here in Vegas, they're very educated, you know, best in the business. I can tell you that they're watching a lot of these shots hit the elbows of Biggie Rodriguez as well. You know, a lot of those shots are not getting in. Now, if you have an inexperienced judge, then you know, I expect them to possibly think that Saavedra's dominating this fight right now, but I'm seeing little spots.
That's a nice left hand there from Biggie Rodriguez that throws Saavedra in his tracks.
Seeing shots like that, cleaner punches, more effective punches, harder shots coming from Rodriguez.
Measuring with that stick. And there goes another left hand from Biggie Rodriguez. Takes 3 shots to the body from Saavedra. Nice uppercut from Saavedra.
Yeah, that was a clean uppercut right in the middle as Biggie was leaning forward over that front knee.
Stick from Biggie Rodriguez.
Unreal.
We're going to listen in to Robert Garcia's instructions for Robert Biggie Rodriguez.
This is what we don't want to fucking say. You need a fucking knockout now. Come on, Biggie. You need a knockout to win. You gotta fucking beat the seven guy for the next 2 rounds. Or else you're losing the fight. You ain't showing us that you want to win. You ain't showing us that you want to be a fucking star, that you want to be signed. You're not showing that, Biggie. You're letting him grow too much. You're letting him do his thing. He's not doing much either, but you're letting him get away with everything. You gotta pressure more. You gotta throw more punches. You gotta be more aggressive. Back him up and fucking try to beat the shit out of him. You're letting him believe that he even has a chance, and he's doing it. You gotta win my knockout on him, Biggie. Come on. Just win. You gotta take chances now. This is it. You can't. You gotta win. You gotta win by knockout now, right? You gotta do something big.
We We apologize for the language, but Tim, as honest as a corner needs to be.
That's what I need to hear. Garcia was trying to motivate his fighter and letting him know and being truthful to him and saying that, hey, you're getting outworked, son. Do you want it? You got to go out there and show us that you want it.
The punch stats extremely similar, just a one-punch difference in both landed and thrown. Give a 1% advantage to Rodriguez, but the urgency in the corner means that he sees what we see.
Yeah.
And he said it perfectly. Look, you want to get signed, you want to be a star, you're not doing it, and you're letting him get away with doing it.
Yeah, see, I'm going to tell you something. When you're in the gym and you're in there with, a ton of, top-notch pros, yes, you develop good habits, you learn the tricks of the trade as well, but sometimes you fight like this. You fight at a pace where you're comfortable at. You're used to going 8, 10, 12 rounds of sparring, and when you get in these 6-round fights like this, there's really no sense of urgency. You're fighting like you're going 12 rounds, but really you're going 6 rounds. So you got to pick it up. Pick it up inside the gym, especially when you're in there working and you're going the long haul. You got to understand how many rounds you're going, so that way when you get in the fight, things like this doesn't happen.
And basically it comes down to the next 4.5 minutes for Biggie Rodriguez to be able to turn this fight around. But Tim, he's got a fighter in front of him who's not cooperating, who didn't read the script because Saavedra came to win.
Yeah, Saavedra's a gutsy guy, and he had time to prepare. So a lot of those losses, he took fights on short notice. And so, the guys made him pay for those short notice fights. But he had time to prepare to get himself right for this fight. And that's why you see him doing very well in this fight.
Rodriguez continues to break him down, but the shots that worked against younger fighters or other fighters simply do not move Saavedra, and it's Saavedra who's making Rodriguez pay to the body.
I'm going to just tell you right now, pay attention to the feet. You see both guys' feet are grounded right there. And then every now and then you see Saavedra, he'll go into that triangle step. He'll bring that foot straight up, parallel with the other foot to land some shots. And then he can switch and see which side he wants to go to, once he exits the pocket. So good work right there from Saavedra, excuse me.
And here Rodriguez with a nice left hand to the head first and then an uppercut, but Saavedra takes it well. Biggie's going to have to pick up the intensity here in the last 20 seconds of round 5. But he's not moving Saavedra with the shots. Nice right counter from Saavedra there.
Yeah, Biggie had Saavedra sitting right there. He should have threw combinations instead of one shot at a time. He got countered right over the top of it.
See what Robert has to say to Rodriguez.
Take a deep breath, Biggie. I don't know if something's wrong with you, bro, but you're giving this fight away, Biggie. I don't know how you feel, but you're giving this fight away, all right? You need a knockout to win, all right? You're letting him fight his fight. You're letting him, go to the body. You're not coming back. You miss and you step too back. You come in, you land a punch, but then you step back. If you have him in the ropes, fucking throw punches and fucking throw combinations right there when he's in the ropes. You got to do Biggie. This is the last round. You got 3 minutes to do something fucking spectacular, or else the fight's not ours, all right? Yeah, that's right, right? If not, the fight's not ours, baby. You gotta do something spectacular, or else the fight's not yours. And you know you could. If not, we wouldn't be telling you. All right?
He did something spectacular last time out against Abel Soriano, a first-round knockout. He had previously beaten Adrian Servin with another vicious knockout, both in the bubble. Now there's fans, and he's got to do something spectacular. As Robert Garcia says, this is not our fight.
Yeah, I've seen Biggie Rodriguez more explosive than what I see tonight. So he feels good. He made the weight by. He still has his punching power behind him, still has his wit. So what could it be? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. Saavedra, fighting fire with fire, baby.
Saavedra has everything to do with Robert Biggie Rodriguez having a bad night tonight. Nice combination there from Biggie. And then it's Saavedra who gets the last word on that combination. There's a quick flurry of 3 punches downstairs and upstairs from Saavedra. And the more Rodriguez has to risk, the easier it's going to become for Saavedra.
Just look at the creativity from Saavedra. Switching stances right there. I mean, I know it's against the grain, but when you know what can happen and you still get away with it, there's no better feeling when you're inside that ring. There he goes again with the right hand, switches stances, then drills 2 body shots downstairs. You know, when you're boxing, Bernardo, you know, we have fundamentals, things like that, of that nature. Yes, you need to follow. But that doesn't mean you always got to follow them. It's just like, let me give you an example. You know, if you're late for work, I understand there's a red light. Sometimes you might blow past that red light. I'm not telling anybody at home to blow past that red light.
Of course not. We don't condone that.
But what I'm telling you is that in the ring, you can do whatever you want as long as you know why you're doing it and as long as you know what can happen to you.
We know you can get a ticket if you go past that red light.
Yeah, damn right you can. And you can get a ticket in the ring, too, get knocked out by doing the wrong thing. But there's a lot of times where things like that works for you inside the ring.
So Saavedra just using his legs and picking Rodriguez up as he comes in.
Okay.
Biggie with a quick combination. There's just not the same power behind it for some reason. And Robert Garcia said, I don't know if something's wrong with you tonight. Well, something's wrong if Saavedra is taking over.
Yeah, Saavedra, and I believe Biggie's overtrained, to be honest with you. A lot of fighters, more than 85% of the fighters, be overtrained. Not going to lie. You know, you're in the gym full of champions. You're in there working with everybody. Everyone's helping one another. You probably put in too much work for this fight. So you have the same effect, Bernardo, the same effect, like you didn't train at all.
Interesting. You train hard, yet you have nothing left when it comes to fight time. But no discredit to Luis Fernando Saavedra. He did what he came here to do against Biggie Rodriguez, and that was to give him a great fight and maybe pull off the upset against the unbeaten fighter out of San Antonio, Texas. Luis Fernando Saavedra, consistent. He worked the body extremely well from the first round to the last, and he stayed true to his game plan. And that's to be credited to Marco Contreras in his corner, who said, look, we had a full training camp. We know Biggie very well. We've studied him, and they did their homework, and it paid off tonight.
That's right. Perfect execution of the game plan by Saavedra and his team. You know, starting with the body work. And that probably had a lot to do with the fact that Biggie Rodriguez didn't have the steam needed, you know, on the back end of the fight to do what his trainer was asking him to do, to step up the pace, to take it to Saavedra. He couldn't understand what was happening. Well, those body shots, a lot of those body shots got in, and they got in earlier, and it affected him. And towards the middle of the fight, you would see Biggie tried to come on, but Saavedra being tough, staying tough mentally, took a big shot very, very well in one of those rounds, got hurt, but then come back and then step to Biggie Rodriguez shortly after that to show the judges that, hey, I'm here to fight, I'm here to win. Great performance by Saavedra, good effort for Biggie Rodriguez. Let's see what the judges have.
I mean, you see how close these punch stats numbers were, but they did favor Saavedra, who, you know, he's got 6 losses, but his last 5 came against opponents who were 39-0. Saul Sanchez undefeated, Antonio Vargas, a U.S. Olympian, unbeaten, Christian Cardo, Brandon Figueroa, who went on to become the WBA bantamweight champion. So it's been a tough road. Did he finally get the payoff tonight? Mark Chinook has the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds here inside the Virgin Hotel Las Vegas, we go to the judges' scorecards for the official decision. Patricia Morse-Jarman scores the bout 59-55. Dave Moretti and Ricardo Ocasio both score the bout 60-54. For your winner by unanimous decision, Luis Fernando Saavedra.
Before the fight, if somebody told you it would be a shutout on 2 scorecards in favor of Saavedra over Rodriguez, nobody would have believed it.
That's unreal. And I didn't think it was a shutout. I thought both guys going back and forth. Probably would have been 4 rounds to 2. But hey, what do I know? I'm not a judge. I'm just a fighter, buddy.
Yeah, I did have